One after getting fired from the company, I moved back to the countryside and spent my days playing cards with grandma. But my family went nuts trying to find me, all because my genius jewelry designer sister couldn't draw her designs after I left. Last time around, during the National Jewelry Design Competition, my sister always managed to submit designs identical to mine before I did. Everyone thought I was the one copying her. Even my family stood by her side. The company labeled me as unethical and accused me of plagiarism, saying I damaged their reputation. I got fired on the spot and was slammed with a massive fine. My family treated me like a burden and kicked me out. Under the weight of family and public pressure, I fell into depression and got hit by one of my sister's crazed fans on the street. Before my consciousness faded, I couldn't figure out how my sister always managed to draw designs identical to mine first. When I opened my eyes again, it was the day before the National Jewelry Design Competition. Thea, do you feel confident about the upcoming competition? The chatter in the office brought my thoughts back. To my surprise, I had been reborn. Thea's won the company's top designer award multiple times. Of course, she must be confident. Someone nudged my shoulder and smiled at me. Her words caught me off guard since I was the only one who knew what would happen next. Last time, during the National Design Competition, I submitted designs I had painstakingly worked on for days. But right there, I was accused of plagiarism. The organizers displayed two identical designs. Even the intricate patterns on the jewelry were the same. Yet, the design submission attributed to my sister, Evelyn, was time-stamped before mine. She sat in the audience, teary-eyed, looking shocked at me. Grabbing a nearby microphone, she loudly questioned me. "Sis, why did you copy my work? If you were stuck, I could have helped you find inspiration. But why copy me?" I was stunned. Those designs were my own, saved on my computer, never shown to anyone. As I tried to explain, the crowd erupted. "Get the plagiarist out. Who dares to bring plagiarized work into a competition? The audacity. Such a person doesn't deserve to be a designer, let alone call themselves one." I snatched the microphone to defend myself, but there were hardly any voices supporting me. And my parents. They presented photos of Evelyn working late at night at home on her designs, expressing their regret for having a daughter like me and declaring they wanted to disown me. Now, no one believed me. I was escorted out by security, my phone flooded with online hate. I checked my computer, no viruses, no hidden monitoring. I had my computer and paper drafts with me at all times. There was no way they could have been leaked. But how did Evelyn's designs match mine perfectly? All my creative ideas and drawings were my own work, sketched by my hand. There was no way I copied her. "Thea, I heard your sister's in the competition too this time. Who do you guys think will come out on top?" Shortly after I joined the company, Evelyn somehow got in as well. Hearing this made my heart clench with fear, my fists clenching so tight my palms almost bled. My sister Evelyn, right from her birth, while other babies cried instantly, she didn't. Later, our mom thought something was off and invited a fortune teller to have a look. Unexpectedly, as soon as the fortune teller stepped in, he kept staring at me. He said that my destiny conflicted with my sister's, making hers more fragile, warning that I would consume her luck. He insisted that I had to move out of the house, or else she wouldn't live past 25. Since then, my parents contemplated ways to send me away. Perhaps because I felt it deep down, I tried every way to befriend my sister to stay home. I gave her my favorite toy, while her room was piled with the latest dolls. When I approached her, she'd give me a sweet, innocent smile. Just when I thought she liked me too, she knocked over a stack of blocks and began to wail. When our parents rushed in, they ran straight to check on her, while I stood there, met with a slap from Mom. My ears rang and blood trickled from the corner of my mouth. I realized right then and there, my sister and I could never get along. Eventually, I was sent to live with Grandma, who raised me on her own. A couple of years ago, my parents suddenly said they wanted me back home. Always yearning for their affection, I agreed. Back at my workstation, I turned on the computer, staring at design drafts. Throughout her life, Evelyn studied ballet. When did she learn design? I asked around to see some of Evelyn's past design submissions. Soon, a co-worker sent a file containing Evelyn's drafts. As I went through them, I was increasingly alarmed. Every design matched mine exactly. Some were designs I hadn't even released, kept for a future studio project when I had the money. No one knew about them but me. Panicked, I deleted my files and calmed down. I'm someone who's been through death and came back. There must be something I overlooked. I'd studied art since high school, gotten into an academy with top grades, and then pursued jewelry design. I have a solid foundation and exquisite drawing skills. I slowly calmed down and steadied my mind. No matter what tricks she used, I'd just redesign and switch to a new concept. I turned off my computer. I was too scared to use it again, worried about getting plagiarized. I grabbed some blank paper and began sketching a new jewelry design by hand. As I thought through the structure and materials, I started drawing. Who knows how long it took? When I looked at the paper, there it was, a stunning piece. It's a ring with a band made of fine threaded purple gold, adorned with a platinum violet blossom, featuring a rare purple gem. Wearing it gives an aura of mystery and elegance. I named it Violet's Kiss. Suddenly, someone exclaimed, "Wow, Evelyn's come up with another design, and it's gorgeous." I frowned. Another design? Oh my god, this design is so exquisite. Thea, your sister is amazing. I'm so jealous of you. The office was filled with gasps and whispers of awe. I noticed them glued to their phones, so I picked mine up and opened up WeChat. Just then, I saw Evelyn's post. It read, "I will keep working hard to bring more beautiful creations to everyone. This one's for you, Violet's Kiss." Seeing the picture, my eyes widened in shock. This was the design I had just thought up, and Evelyn had somehow posted it before me. Someone walking past snatched my freshly drawn design from the desk. "Guys, look, this design is the exact same as the one Evelyn just posted." People started to gather around. "It's identical." Panic hit me, and I was about to grab my sketch back, but someone pushed me away. "Thea, are you trying to steal your sister's design?" Everyone nearby started gossiping like they'd heard some juicy gossip. "Geez, she seemed so decent, but stealing designs, really?" Then, someone pointed out, "Doesn't anyone notice how similar Thea's designs always look to Evelyn's?" People began to search through my older designs and compare them to Evelyn's. I took the chance to snatch back my design. "This is mine. Evelyn's the one who's been copying me, always." At that moment, Evelyn walked in. She stood in the crowd, wearing a white short dress, her eyes red and tears streaming down her cheeks, her voice shaky. "Sister, why would you copy my work? I know you don't like me, but those designs are my hard work, my devotion." Her words tugged at everyone's heartstrings and made them angry on her behalf. Suddenly, someone shoved me from behind, making me fall forward, hitting my head on the desk. Fresh blood trickled down my face onto the floor. Evelyn rushed over, crouched down, pretending to help me up. But the moment she touched me, she dramatically fell backward. In my mind, I thought, is she serious with this act in front of everyone? She put on a fragile act, looking at me with helpless, wide eyes. "Sister, why did you push me?" "I was just trying to help." People quickly crowded around to check if Evelyn was okay, and then yelled at me, "Thea, don't go too far. You had the courage to steal, but not to own up. Feel ashamed." "Yeah, Evelyn, leave her be. That shameless person, serves her right if she hurts herself." Evelyn slowly rose, looking all pitiful. "No matter what, she's still my sister. I'm okay." I gave her a slight smile, then looked at her with false concern. "Sister was wrong about you. Come closer, I have something to say." She approached, looking all wronged. As she neared, I smiled at her and slapped her hard. She lost balance and fell, claiming loudly with exaggeration, "Oops, sister, how come you're so careless? I just lightly pushed you, that's all." Evelyn sat on the floor, holding her cheek. Behind her hair, she shot me a furious gaze before looking up with innocent eyes. I'd wasted enough time on her. With everyone's attention on Evelyn, I stood up, ignoring the chaos, and prepared to leave this mess. Back home, I visited a clinic. The cut on my forehead was already bandaged. No one was home when I returned, so I went to my room to burn all my design sketches. I sorted through my things, making sure none were missing. If all my designs were here, how did Evelyn copy them? I must not be losing my mind, claiming I stole from her. Meanwhile, the company group chat buzzed with chatter. Better to let this plague leave the company. Can we just kick her out already? She always acts so high and mighty, yet steals others' work. Reading these hurtful comments took me back to the last traumatic time. My phone blew up constantly, calls pouring in with insults, taunts, and endless harassment. Finally, I yanked out the SIM card. When they couldn't reach me by phone, they started digging into where I was hiding out. They camped out with cameras, eager for drama. Some even dared to hang banners outside my home, reading, "Shame on you, plagiarist. Better off dead." For over a week, I stayed indoors, terrified to go outside. Then one day, under the cover of night, I sneaked out through the bushes. I was starving, everything at home had long been eaten up. I was crouching by the roadside, aggressively devouring a bun. A kid passing by tossed his water bottle at me. "Mom, it's that thief from the internet," he said. He even spat at my face. Instead of getting upset, I just smiled at him. His mom quickly pulled him away. I'd had enough of these days. That day, sitting on the rooftop, I felt zero emotion. This bustling city seemed filled with stench. The only thing I might miss was probably Grandma back in the countryside. Coming to my senses, I started packing my bags. I wanted to go back. Forget about those stupid competitions. I wasn't going. I emailed my resignation to the company and announced I was dropping out of the competition. I couldn't figure out how Evelyn always managed to draw the same designs as me, and always before me. So, I decided not to draw anymore and see what she'd come up with. After packing my bags, I bought the earliest ticket back to the countryside. Before the car even arrived, I spotted that familiar figure waiting at the village entrance. My eyes got a bit watery. I'd called Grandma, and after a long silence, I finally said, "I miss you, Grandma." On the other end, she laughed with joy, then said with a tender tone, "Come back, sweetheart. I'll make you your favorite steak." In the past life, this little old lady in the countryside learned about my suicide. She was heartbroken, fell ill, and her health deteriorated quickly. She didn't last long. As I got off the car, Grandma immediately walked over and took my luggage. "Come, let's go home," she said. This small home wasn't big, but it housed my entire childhood. Soon, I settled back into my countryside life. In the city, Evelyn panicked once she knew I had resigned. She knew that without me, she couldn't produce new designs. She tried calling me with different numbers, and I blocked every single one. I knew Evelyn couldn't draw designs if I didn't. Grandma seemed to notice something was troubling me, so she sat down with me in the yard to chat. I spoke about everything, as it had become a significant concern in my heart. My work always appeared elsewhere first, and identical to mine. It was as if someone knew everything I had in mind before I even showed it. Grandma frowned a bit before seriously saying, "I'll be heading out tomorrow. Keep an eye on the house till I return." I didn't know where Grandma was headed, just that she left early the next morning. By evening, she still hadn't returned. I thought maybe she was visiting relatives or neighbors, so I called. No answer. That night, I couldn't sleep, worried something might have happened to her. The next morning, Grandma returned with an even older lady. Her hair was entirely white, her back hunched, and she leaned on a stick. I looked carefully. The stick's top was shaped like a snake's head. I realized it was actually a live snake with glowing red eyes, hissing at me. I stepped back in fear. Grandma quickly reassured me, "This is Astrid, the witch from the next village. Her ancestors were witches, so she's quite skilled in this realm." I frowned slightly and looked at Astrid. She slid her finger across the snake's tongue before touching my forehead. Some black mist emerged and coiled around her finger. "You got any enemies with a grudge?" she asked. I shook my head. She sighed, looking at me heavily. "This dark mist in your brow is growing. Women have a naturally yin body, and your life energy is nearly depleted. You might not have much time left." My heart sank. Was I cursed? Upon hearing this, Grandma went to kneel before Astrid, who promptly stopped her. "Don't worry. If I'm here, there's a way to break the curse." Grandma surely told her everything before she came. Astrid tapped the snake's head, and it moved, slowly climbing my leg. I stood frozen, scared to anger it, fearing it might bite. The snake climbed to my hand and bit into the web of it. I gasped in pain. "My little darling will absorb some of the dark energy from you," Astrid replied. She then explained, "Someone sacrificed to an evil spirit, binding your soul to someone else's. That person can access your creative thoughts, but it burns your life energy." After hearing this, I felt a pang of bitterness. It must be about my jewelry design drafts, I said. Turns out, the people who offered to bring me back home didn't do it out of love. They had ulterior motives. My feelings grew numb and frigid. I knelt and bowed to Astrid. Please, tell me how to break the curse. She patted my head gently. Leave tomorrow. I'll give you a tool to find the evil idol. You must destroy it. This will end the curse, and the one who set it up will face backlash and die within a day. Ignore them, they'll get what's coming. I nodded, bidding farewell to Astrid, and went back inside. Holding my knees, I sat on the bed with cold eyes. Wait, I will make you pay. Following Astrid's advice, I left Grandma the next morning and headed back to the city. Looking down at the bracelet she gave me, it looked like a real snake coiled around my wrist. When I got home, the family of 3 at the table looked up at me mid-meal. You troublemaker, where have you been? Why haven't you answered the phone? Your sister's competition is soon. Mom gave Dad a look, signaling to ease up in case I ran again. Evelyn just sat there, relishing the drama. Mom stood up, walked over to me, and put on her caring mother act. Thea, where have you been these past few days? Why didn't you call? Your dad and I have been worried sick. I looked at her, a hint of sarcasm in my eyes while she played the doting mom role. Why should I tell you? Her smile froze. Dad, on the other hand, slammed the table in anger, stood up, and pointed a finger at me, yelling, "Is that how you talk to your mother? You've gotten bolder by the day. Who knows what you're up to outside? Look at what you've done. Cheating. You're bringing shame to our family's name." Evelyn jumped up to calm Dad. Dad, Mom, it's my fault. If I had stood up for my sister at the company, she wouldn't be criticized so much. Watching her dramatic act, I couldn't help but laugh and sarcastically clapped my hands. Bravo, bravo. You guys deserve an Oscar. Should I hand you an award or something? I looked at them with mockery written all over my face. I'll skip dinner. I'm not into dinner theater. You'll go ahead. Waving them off, I went upstairs. In my room, I scanned with my bracelet, but found nothing unusual. Could it be not in my room? I quietly stepped out, planning to check other rooms, but bumped into Evelyn on the stairs. Sis, what are you doing at my room's door? I tensed up, then smiled at her. I heard Mom and Dad bought you lots of jewelry over the years. I'm looking for some design inspiration. Evelyn eased up, thinking she could beat me to making a new design. She linked her arm with mine. Mom made me an inspiration room. Let me show you. I faked a smile and nodded, even though I felt uneasy inside. The room Evelyn showed me used to be a guest room. Now it's where she stores her jewelry. Full of it, seeing all that jewelry, I felt a mix of emotions. Mom and Dad's love for her seemed endless. Mom keeps bringing in jewelry. I told her we had enough, but she insisted. The pride on her face as she spoke showed how much Mom loved her. I wasn't swayed by her words. I just wanted to ditch her and search for the statue. Pretending a stomachache, I scurried back to my room. I needed a new plan. Over a few days, I sketched some mediocre designs. Oddly, Evelyn handed me the key to the jewelry room. I didn't refuse, curious what she was up to. The day before the jewelry competition, she made her move. Her sobs woke me from sleep, echoing from downstairs. Annoyed, I went to the kitchen, but was stopped by Mom. She slapped me hard. You little thief. First stealing designs, now at home too. I bit back the pain, staring back coldly. Evelyn accused me of stealing because she gave me the key. Mom fumed more. So you're admitting it? Evelyn flashed a smug grin from the couch. I'm afraid not. I set up surveillance in the hallway. Shall we watch it together? Mom and Evelyn exchanged shocked looks. Worried, Evelyn quickly changed her tune. I must have misplaced them. It's not sister's fault. There was no camera. I bluffed. Snarling, I approached Evelyn, grabbing her hair and yanking hard. What are you doing? She screamed in terror. The smack echoed in the room. Next time, think twice before trying something so dumb. With my appetite ruined, I went back upstairs. On the competition day, the whole family supported Evelyn. Perfect time to find the statue. I searched room by room until only Evelyn's was left. Slipping inside, the room was meticulously organized. Using the bracelet to scan, I stopped at a painting. The snake bracelet got hot, like it came alive. Its eyes glowed red. A normal plum blossom painting outside, but something sinister felt behind it. I took it down to uncover a hidden space, yet the statue was gone. A dark aura bird lay dead inside. I had been outsmarted. Meanwhile, at the competition, Evelyn opened her bag to reveal the statue. Smirking in satisfaction, she recalled the midnight warning from the deity. I needed to stay calm and figure out where she'd keep the statue. It had to be somewhere under watch. I rushed to the competition venue. Blending in as a staff member, I found the backstage lounge. Evelyn's bag was there, and as I opened it, the statue was inside, black as night, menacing, cat-like with fox features and long fangs. The room chilled around it, holding the statue, ready to smash it. Suddenly it spoke. Thea, it's Grandma. I miss you. Won't you come stay with Grandma for a bit? 5. I stared in shock at the statue. It was chilling. It could mimic loved ones' voices. I acted quickly, ready to smash it on the floor. Just then, Evelyn burst into the room. She'd heard the call of the evil god and rushed over. Holding the statue, I threatened her, telling her to back off or I'd smash it. My threat scared Evelyn. She quickly stepped aside, afraid I might really do it. With that distraction, I dashed out of the room. On stage, the curtain was drawn, and the audience from all over the country was seated. I ran onto the stage, clutching the statue. Overhead, microphones hung down. Evelyn was right behind me. Holding the statue, I confronted her. You used this evil statue to steal my work, didn't you? Evelyn looked all innocent. No, sis. Give me the statue, and I'll tell you everything, okay? You don't want to tell the truth. I pretended to smash the statue. Evelyn stopped me quickly. I'll speak. Looking at me, she gave a wicked smile. You were cursed from the start. Like the master said, you were destined to ruin me and block all that was truly mine. Even after you were sent away, I feared you. Knowing you were alive was a constant nightmare. Evelyn was deranged now. Later, I tracked down that master. He only said those things because our parents paid him well. He didn't mean it. But I couldn't accept it. You were meant to die. I got this statue from him. He said if I put someone's hair in it, I could burn their life away to benefit mine. So what if I stole your work, Thea? Now you know, but it's too late. I watched her, slowly smiling. Is it too late? She scowled at me. Don't try anything. Give me the statue, and after your death, I'll honor you. I'll take your place as head designer and live this life better. Noting her smug face, I smiled and smashed the statue on the ground. A terrifying scream echoed in the air. A cloud of dark smoke dissipated. Evelyn watched in horror, seeing the shattered pieces. No, she looked at me with such hatred, as if ready to rip me apart. As she charged at me, the curtain on stage opened. The audience now knew everything that had happened. Reporters hurriedly took pictures with their phones. My parents were shocked, staring at Evelyn in disbelief. They realized they were wrong all along. Evelyn was in a frenzy, blood dripping from her features. This must be what the Astrid priestess meant by punishment for those in the shadows. Screaming, her flesh began to decay, emitting a nauseating stench. As I tried to leave, reporters surrounded me. Miss Thea, we heard what your sister said. Do you hate her? Are you participating in the competition this time? What do you think about being falsely accused of plagiarism? A flood of questions bombarded me. Among the crowd, my parents approached, regretful. They'd always believed my existence would harm Evelyn. Back then, seeing baby Evelyn, they pitied her innocence. The master's words forced their decision. Seeing 4-year-old me, they thought Evelyn was smaller and weaker. They sent me away with no contact for over 20 years. Years later, when Evelyn suggested bringing me back, they remembered the child they left behind in the countryside. Now, filled with guilt, they faced me. But my heart had already cut ties with this family. Ignoring their pleas, security soon stepped in to restore order. I pushed through the crowd, leaving without looking back. The incident quickly went viral online. Shocking. Sister Steele's designs dark arts plagiarism national jewelry competition. Afterward, another designer from a different city won the competition. I returned to the countryside. My savings are enough for Grandma and me to live comfortably here. Honestly, life like this is truly blissful. The end.